Hey, everybody. I'm so excited. Welcome, Dr. Aaron,
Thanks, Joanne.
our Facebook Live, where we're going to talk about aging gracefully. And this is such an exciting topic for those of us who are in that segment of our life where this is, and I think it's a segment that everybody should be concerned with. But at my age, where you're reaching, a new decade, it's really important for us to be really looking after our skin, but also what are some of the things that we can do to age gracefully? It's certainly important to me, but I would say one of the things that looking back on time, which is so easy to do when you've reached the wise age that I am, is that we really wish that we would have started taking care of our skin when we were younger. It's one of those things, and it's not just taking care of our skin, because our skin is a manifestation of what we put in and on our bodies, right? And I know you're probably going to get into that, Dr. Aaron. So
absolutely, yep.
So I'm just excited to have you on again today, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Aaron Webb. She is a naturopathic doctor at Nature Doctors, and she is our education director for Pure Glow Natural Skin Rejuvenation Center. And we often defer to Dr. Aaron to guide us along with lots of healthy anecdotes and healthy prescriptions for living and creating beautiful skin. So with that, Dr. Aaron, thank you for being with us. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. And just if I can add one thing to what you said, as you said something about, as we're reaching a certain age where we are aging, really, like we're all aging. And I think,
right.
I think you mentioned this, and I think there is more awareness in maybe to a fault, but in younger women now too, right. Maybe too much concern with aging skin and maybe not enough, acceptance of the beauty that is also happens with aging. So right. I think what we are concerned with is how, and I mean, it's the topic of today's discussion, but how do we age gracefully? And how do we prevent accelerated aging? Not how do we prevent aging altogether?
I love that. Accelerated aging. That is a perfect term, because how do we take care? Aging is something that we should be excited about, right? I love the way you put it. I love accelerated aging. I'm going to write that down.
Okay, do it. So today we're talking about collagen and hydration, and I wanted to just sort of underscore the importance of this discussion at this time of year, because we are moving into the fall and eventually into the winter. And especially if you're tuning in from Winnipeg or from Manitoba, it's very dry here in the winter. And so of course our skin is going to feel the effects. So, and it's not just aesthetically like, oh, my skin looks dry. It's like, what actually is happening? What is actually happening to the skin when it is dry? And that's what I want to underscore today, so that we can ideally prevent dryness, because we're not quite in that dry season yet. So how can we prevent dryness at this point? I love the quote that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So if we can prevent that dry skin from happening now, what are the benefits moving into these winter months? And as we move into the winter months, we have drier skin. Drier skin decreases collagen, which leads to aging skin, and decreased collagen also leads to drier skin. So it's kind of this vicious cycle of we lose collagen when our skin is dry, and when our skin is dry, we lose more collagen. So it's a very important conversation as far as prevention of that accelerated aging. And then not only is the dry skin a part of it, but our collagen production actually decreases by 1% each year after the age of 20, only 20. And sometimes actually as early as our teen years, depending on many different factors. And then the decline is really accelerated during the menopausal process and then postmenopausally in women. So, that's why we do tend to see a little bit more acceleration in that time frame, but it starts really as early as in our 20s. And yes, that those kind of statistics make it scary, especially for 20-year-olds in this era, where I think there's many that are getting Botox even at this point
Right.
in time. And I don't underscore it because I think we should be maybe going quite that extreme, but there are lots of simple things that you can include in your daily routine that can start to help boost that collagen production and hydration. So when collagen is, maybe I should start this here. I'm gonna jump down on my notes. I'm gonna start here instead. But what does collagen do? Because it's like, oh, I've heard of collagen. I don't know what collagen is. Collagen basically is part of our connective tissue, and it provides elasticity in the skin, or that bounce, like when you like can push back on your skin, or you can like pull it out and it retracts back. Part of that is because of the benefits of collagen and the healthy cross-linking of collagen in the skin. And then as it declines, we see a reduction in that elasticity and then more fine lines and wrinkles. Again, not a bad thing, but that's what's happening when we lose collagen. So when collagen is not hydrated, so either internally and externally, the strands of the collagen actually start to crack and they start to stick together. And this is one of those pieces that will accelerate wrinkling of the skin. So dehydrated skin causes a loss of integrity of the collagen in your skin. And collagen actually contains an amino acid called hydroxyproline. There's going to be no quiz, but that's, a word you might want to remember. Hydroxyproline, which increases, what was that, Joanne?
Maybe there is.
Maybe there is a quiz.
There's some great deals at the end, and maybe we should have them be able to pronounce those words.
Well, I think we should make it an easy word then.
Right, okay.
The collagen it contains an amino acid called hydroxyproline, which increases skin's moisture levels and smoothness. So going back to that piece where dryness reduces the integrity of collagen, and then collagen also increases the moisture in our skin. So we really need to be thinking about moisturize, like moisture. How do we build collagen? How do we build moisture moving into these months? A double-blind clinical study that was done on a German brand of collagen peptides showed that after 12 weeks of supplementation, we're talking oral supplementation of collagen, the group taking the active product had a 28% increase in skin hydration and a 24% increase in skin density. And that's a good thing. We don't want, when our skin gets too thin, it also kind of sags more. So we do want to kind of increase that density. And not only that, but 4 weeks after the trial concluded, the subject still had significant increase in skin hydration despite having stopped taking the collagen. Skin elasticity also improved, and the wrinkle depth and skin roughness reduced. So lots of benefits to oral, like taking collagen supplements orally. And I will kind of circle back to that momentarily. So what can we do other than just grabbing our hand lotion and slathering it on our skin to try to keep our face moisturized? And I am talking a lot about the face because it is sort of a bit of a more delicate area. So I'll be talking about more specific things for the face, but certainly I'd be talking about the whole body. Get a good moisturizer for your body, for your hands too. We do want to maintain hydration of all of our skin, the biggest organ of our body. So I want to start today by talking about the internal things that we can do to support collagen and hydration. Number one is water. I think it's pretty simple, and I'm going to actually take a sip of my water right now. And I think I've mentioned this is my hack for remembering to drink enough water. Is I have a big mason jar. So I'm upstairs in my house. My office is upstairs, so I have to go downstairs to get water. And if I get a small little cup, I'll finish the cup, and then I don't think of going back down until 2, 3, 4 hours later. So I get a big mason jar, so it gives me enough for my morning water, and then I can fill it up again in the afternoon, and it's enough for my afternoon water. And I can visually see how much do I have left. And this is what I have to finish before I go down to have my lunch.
Right.
And then I recently added a straw because I find it really easy to
Oh yeah, right.
drink and do things at the same time. I can just quickly grab a sip of my water and keep doing whatever I'm doing. So those are my hacks, and you may have your own. Some people will have an app on their phone to remind them to drink water, whatever you need to do, because we're busy people. Don't wait till you feel thirsty, because sometimes you might not really listen to that cue. And by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Absolutely. I heard a hack the other day, and that was, we often have a great coffee mug or a great teacup, right? But to get a really nice glass that you love to drink out of, or something that, you love, that feels good in your hand or feels good to your lip, is again, another great hack. You're
Definitely.
right.
Yep.
So get my water in. Okay.
Yep. Number 2 is an anti-inflammatory diet. So what that means is, if you've heard of the Mediterranean diet, and I don't really even like to use the word diet, I think it really, if we think of the Mediterranean way of eating, is really kind of more how I like to articulate that. But basically what we're doing there is we're including lots of healthy fats, which include fish oils, fish, nuts, seeds, avocado, extra virgin olive oil. So when we are consuming fats, we're consuming healthy fats. We're trying to avoid more of those inflammatory fats, like canola oil. I know we live in canola country, but like canola oil is more inflammatory. Vegetable oils or like seed oils are going to be more inflammatory as well. Things like safflower oil, sunflower oil. These are really hard to avoid, especially if you eat any processed foods. But whenever you can control it, i.e. when you're making your own salad dressings, or when you're, cooking or adding fats to your food, opt for those more anti-inflammatory fats. And what we're doing here is we're decreasing oxidation in the body. So when we're talking about, we want to decrease inflammation and decrease oxidation in the body. So we're doing lots of antioxidants to decrease that oxidation. And before I come back to the anti-inflammatory diet, oxidation, the best example that I like to use, and I've probably said it before in this context, but if you think of an iron rod and you put it out in the rain and it rusts, that is an example of oxidation. That iron is oxidized. And so you can kind of think about, it's not that we become rusty on the inside per se, but it does damage our cells when we have too many oxidized molecules. So we want to quench that with more antioxidants. So fruits and vegetables, eating the rainbow. I don't necessarily say, this vitamin is found, in this nutrient or this food, I just eat the rainbow and you're probably going to get the wide variety that you need of fruits and vegetables and antioxidants. Moderate animal protein balanced with some plant protein. Some people, there's a lot of, should I be eating the carnivore diet? Should I be eating keto? Should I be eating vegan or plant-based? Maybe, but really I think it's about the balance. And that tends to be my approach, is just a more balanced approach. And having, good sources of animal protein. I like to buy happy meat from a farmer that I know, so that I know it was treated well and it doesn't have all sorts of stress hormone in it from its stressful life. I like to buy happy meat, and I balance that with plant protein. So I'm not a carnivore solely, and I'm not a vegan. Right. So I find that balance works really well for me and for a lot of people who like moderation and who like both.
Right. I have a question.
Sure.
It just came up, and it's going to go back to water. Do you drink tap water, Dr. Aaron?
Good question. I see that question. So I don't drink tap water, right? Currently I drink from a Brita filter, which is not the number one best option, but it's better than tap water. It's filtering out some of those metals, chlorine, some of the things. Right. It does definitely taste better. My goal one day, and it's really not a hard achievable goal, is to get a Berkey water filter, which I could talk a bit more about at another time, but it's a fairly affordable, but it's a bit more of an investment, but it's a fairly affordable investment. And it's probably one of the better options for water filtration. And you just use tap water again to filter. And actually it was designed to be used in emergency situations. So you could go and take water from a puddle and put it in there too, and it would be very, very clean and safe to drink. So it's a very good. It's called Berkey.
Berkey.
Yeah. Berkey, I believe.
Okay. I'm going to look that up as well.
That's what I would recommend for someone who has maybe a bit more money in their budget, but again, it's not a huge investment either. It's quite reasonable.
Right.
So And then just one more thing about this sort of anti-inflammatory Mediterranean style of eating is just spices and herbs. So looking for other ways of making our food more palatable rather than just adding salt. You can add a pinch of salt, it enhances the flavors, but adding spices and herbs to your food, such as turmeric, that is very anti-inflammatory, ginger, garlic, basil, all of those things are so great for various different reasons for our bodies, and are better ways of enhancing flavor rather than just adding salt. So that's kind of anti-inflammatory diet in a nutshell. So we talked about water, anti-inflammatory or Mediterranean style of eating. And then let's, bone broth is my number 3. Bone broth is actually a very nutritious way of getting natural collagen. When you steep those like rich marrow laden bones in simmering water for an extended period of time, all of that collagen that is in those bones comes out into that water. And I know that Joanne is quite familiar with this too, but if you see that, then if you take that soup, that stock, and you cool it, it's almost a solid.
Yeah, it becomes
right?
gelatinous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very gelatinous. It's almost a solid. And that's a sign that there's a lot of collagen in that bone broth. So we're not just talking about like, let's just throw some bones in some water and let it bubble for, an hour. This is like a bit of a longer process to really get the benefits of bone broth. You can make your own bone broth. It's not that complicated to make, but it does take a fair bit of time for it to steep over time. Or our favorite is Bones and Marrow, which is a company out of Winnipeg that does it for you. And they have all sorts of a couple of different flavors of bone broth. And then they have some really great soups made with their bone broth. Okay. So that's a great option.
If I could just add to that, our friends Ryan and Sean at Bones and Marrow, and I seriously encourage you, they're a local company. But one of the things that I did when I first started, when I first met Ryan, was to get on bone broth. And I did it daily, Aaron. I did it daily for months. And it was so interesting because for those of you who don't know me, I travel for a living. And when I was starting to travel, people kept going, "What are you doing to your skin? What are you doing to your skin?" And I kept thinking, well, I'm using my skincare, but this was going on for months. And I realized that what I had changed is I was having bone broth daily. And it had changed my skin. And I wasn't noticing it as much because, we don't notice things in ourselves as much as other people were noticing. And it was a really great compliment. And it was a big aha for myself, the role that collagen plays in our skin, but not just our skin, in our bodies, and our reparative, the ability to repair skin damage.
How did you consume it every day? What is your trick for that?
Well, I like to drink it. So I would heat up a mug first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. I would have, anywhere 6 to 8 ounces. But then now what I do is I put it in all my stir fries. I put it in almost everything I make. Karen just asked, how much bone broth do we take daily? On average, Karen, I would say I probably drink 6 ounces when I'm really on my program, really watching. And you know what, when I'm not being careful, I might do that 2 to 3 times a week even. When I'm really on course and I'm really paying attention to my diet, it's going to be every day.
And there are places, I think maybe even in Winnipeg now, but I know I saw a segment on something a few years ago, where even in New York, there are like bone broth cafes.
Yes, there are.
Right. And probably, I think there's probably coffee shops now serving cups of bone broth now here too in the city. So, but yeah, if you're looking for an option, Nature Doctors as well as Pure Glow both carry the Bones and Marrow bone broth. So that's a good one to have in the freezer and easy to grab and go.
Yes, absolutely.
So water, anti-inflammatory style of eating, bone broth. And then my final internal thing that I'm going to mention is going back to the collagen supplement. So specifically a hydrolyzed collagen supplement. They usually they can come in capsules. I find that the powders are better because you're going to get more. You'd have to probably take about 20 capsules to get the equivalent of a powdered supplement that you can easily stir into your coffee in the morning with very, very minimal to no change in the flavor of your coffee, as well as your water. So you could put it in a cold beverage, you could put it in your coffee, you can put it in your smoothie. It's also amazing for gut health as well as bone broth. Both of those, the collagen itself is very good for our gut health. It decreases inflammation in our gut. And then we want to pair that with the antioxidants. Let's go back to the antioxidant piece that I mentioned before with the anti-inflammatory diet. We want to pair our collagen with antioxidants. Doesn't mean necessarily at the same time, but sometime, throughout your day, you're getting lots of antioxidants, specifically vitamin C. Vitamin C is actually a cofactor to help with collagen production. So vitamin C specifically, so you can either take that in a supplement form, or maybe you have peppers or oranges or, whatever version of vitamin C you want to get in, kiwis, or just you can supplement with that as well. So hydrolyzed collagen supplement, I believe we carry one at Pure Glow.
We do. We have Pure Glow as well. Yeah.
Okay. So again, an easy powder, you can mix it into your liquid in the morning. And I think if you're a real coffee connoisseur, if you drink a black coffee in the morning, you may notice a slight change at first, and it's just more like, there's something in my coffee. It's a bit different, but it's not like a flavor. And then over time, you don't even notice it anymore at all.
No, you really don't.
If at all.
If at all. Yeah. It's really, the flavor is really unnoticeable.
Yeah. So those are my internal recommendations for building hydration, building collagen in the body. So let's talk about some external options, because there's some fun external options too. One of them is, maybe sounds obvious, but we have to keep our skin moisturized. And again, it's not just about like grabbing your hand moisturizer and putting it on your face, which I've seen my husband do. I now have him on something else.
But I know it at my house too.
Yeah. So it's keep our skin moisturized. I wanted to kind of show you a little bit about my routine. So I have loved, Joanna, I should let you know this. It's going to be hard to see this, but you probably can't read it. This is the Viva Daily Glow Moisturizer that I picked up one day at the salon. Yeah. And I love it. It's a really nice, bit of a lighter option than some of the other ones that we have. So for maybe acne prone skin, or maybe you just don't need as much hydration, I find this one really nice. And then since we've probably since September, I've started to add a facial oil, and this is the Osmosis Facial Oil. So I like pairing when we get into those drier months, unless sometimes I know my mother has drier skin, just being a bit older. She will do all the moisturizer all year round and maybe increase in the winter, but yeah. For me, I'll double up a little bit in the winter. So normal amount of the moisturizer, and then I just add like a drop or two of the facial oil as well. This is the Osmosis Nourish that I really like, but there's lots of options for facial oils. And then in the morning, so that's my evening routine. And then in the morning, I swap out this moisturizer for my SPF. And again, you probably can't read it, La Spa. So I'm using the La Spa moisturizing mineral sunscreen. Just because it's winter doesn't mean I'm not putting on my sunscreen. So I still put on my sunscreen, and then I still add a drop or two of the facial oil. And I find that really nice. This one's really moisturizing, but I do find a drop or two really nice. And I let it sit on my skin for a little bit before I add my tinted moisturizer, which I use as my foundation. So lots of moisture in the fall, winter.
Absolutely.
Those are my faves right now.
Yeah. And I can't agree with you more. I have dry skin. So I'm using moisture all the time. And I think, as you know, I'm a mature woman. So I think as our collagen starts to, I don't know what it's not being produced as much. It's the correct term, I guess. And so as that's not being produced as much, you really do need to add a bit more moisture to keep your skin soft and supple.
Yeah. And what are your favorites right now?
Oh, my favorites right now, I am using the Huna oil. It is a beautiful, I'm trying it right now for a change, and I'm really, really liking it. And so I'm using that morning and night right now just to get, I always like to really test a product and see how well it responds. And that's one of my favorites, as well as I'm still loving at nighttime the Osmosis mango mask, and I sleep in it.
Mm.
And that is so hydrating. The mango mask is a very hydrating mask, and it takes such a small amount. I can't remember the last time I actually picked one up.
Mm.
It was probably 6-8 months ago, and I just use a little bit and it goes such a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it's fun to try new things too, right? Like sometimes a new scent can just sort of invigorate the senses in a new way and kind of just like make you really look forward to that bit of self-care time. So even though this is my fave right now, eventually I'll switch it up and try. I've used some Huna stuff too that I absolutely love. And it's just kind of fun to switch it up and try something else.
Absolutely. Jordy just chopped on, and Jordy's one of our estheticians, and she says, my favorite right now is Huna Skin Nutrition Balm, perfect for fall and winter, and Tropical Mango and Immerse. So she agrees with us. And Age Grace Serum from Huna is also really good. And you're going to want to remember some of these names because we have such a great promo at the end of this. So
thank you for that input. Yes, there's so many wonderful options. And that's why I switch up my routine too, because I just can't choose.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean you have to buy all the things all at once. It just means, next time try something else and maybe it'll work too. And if it doesn't, then try your normal, try your I can't think of the word. It's okay. Let's keep going. So yes, number one in externally is hydration through moisturizer. Number two is using something specific that's going to boost collagen in the skin. So our osmosis serums are fantastic for boosting collagen in the skin. And then the other one, and Joanne, I should have asked you this before, but do we still carry the Viva collagen hyaluronic acid mask?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
So that's a kind of a fun one. So like the serums are nice kind of for your everyday use. You can use it once a day, twice a day. Definitely talk to one of our estheticians if you're wondering which ones specifically might be helpful for your skin. But the Viva Collagen Hyaluronic Acid Mask is really nice to use, once in a while, just to boost that bit of self-care and also just to give your skin a real boost in hydration and collagen.
Absolutely.
So those.
Yeah, that is a great one. And hyaluronic acid, again, is something that is so great for moisture because it carries 1,000 times its weight in moisture. So getting that on is just such a, it's delicious to your skin.
Exactly. I love that. Delicious to the skin. Definitely. And then finally, which maybe it's not an exhaustive list, but I would say microneedling is my next go-to. So microneedling, we've talked about it, and we can have another live on microneedling if people want. But the whole idea around microneedling is that it's creating a very specific and controlled medically speaking, we would call it a micro trauma. I think it maybe just makes it sound a bit too dramatic, but what it does is it reminds the skin to repair. And in that repair process, it rebuilds the collagen in the deeper layers underneath the epidermis of the skin. So, and winter is such a great time to do this because there is a bit of downtime after. Downtime maybe isn't quite the right word, but if you're doing it in the summer, you do want to stay out of the direct sun for 2 weeks. So winter is a really great time because we don't really have to worry so much about that direct sunlight. But microneedling would be my next, if you want to really up your game with hydration and collagen production, it would be microneedling.
Absolutely. And I know that with microneedling, and I am a regular microneedler, I like to do it about quarterly. But we know from research and statistics that 80% of the product becomes absorbed versus a very, whatever our skin can absorb through the epidermis, which is generally anywhere between 7 and 15%. and greater the better the product you use, because the molecular weight of the product is smaller. But when we know we get into microneedling, the product absorption goes up to 80%. And that's when we really nourish the dermis, which is the lower area of our skin. So,
and that's where all the collagen is.
And that's where all your collagen is, and your blood flow and all that. And so these are the areas. And I love that you brought up microneedling, because this is something that, we do at Pure Glow, and it's really what we're known for. But really nourishing the skin. And we talk about nourishing the body, but nourishing the skin at a layer that really becomes reparative.
Yeah. So those are my tips and tricks. I think there's a little bit of something for everybody. There's some nice things to incorporate, I think, relatively easily into your daily routine as far as internal things, being mindful of that anti-inflammatory style of eating, a hydrolyzed collagen supplement that you can add to your morning beverage, add a little bone broth, let's say mid-afternoon, you're feeling a little sluggish, have a little bone broth. It can help kind of bring you into the evening with a bit more energy, and just getting that water throughout the day. Those are some really simple things that you can do every day. And then in terms of externally, also some really easy things to do every day. Keep your skin moisturized, add a little bit of extra facial oil in the winter if you need a bit more moisture. Use some really good serums that actually boost collagen in your skin, as well as, maybe upping your game once a week, once every couple of weeks, add in a mask like the Viva collagen mask. And then consider microneedling, which is something that we tend to recommend, three services, spaced about 4 to 6 weeks apart. And then like Joanne said, because she's a regular microneedler, she just goes in quarterly now to sort of top things up. So I think there's some good solutions there that are really, I think, pretty easy to bring into your routine today. So
what I love, Dr. Aaron, is you've taken us from taking it to what we can, we can do easily at home, right? Changing, increasing our water is zero cost, right?
You're paying for water anyways.
Paying for water anyway. So we increase our water and maybe watch the quality of our water, but also an anti-inflammatory diet, watching, the plants that we're eating. I'm eating a green smoothie this morning because this is how I get my vegetables in the morning. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer for how I'm feeling. So getting your watching your your inflammatory foods and making sure, and then of course, getting a great source of bone broth like bones and marrow. And again, we carry that at Pure Glow and at Nature Doctors, but bone broth was a game changer for me. Hydrolyzed collagen powder, again, love it. And then vitamin C, that was really interesting. That was a really great one. When you're adding it, is what you said, you can add it along with your collagen supplement.
Some collagen supplements actually do carry vitamin C for that reason. Okay. But you can also just add it on the side. I mean, vitamin C is easy to find and it's relatively inexpensive. And I also said, you can also, up your oranges, up your peppers, up your kiwis, right. Some other dietary sources as well.
Right. Absolutely. Are there any other questions before we move into some of the promos that we've got on for the next 72 hours? Thanks.
I like what Jordy said here, that the collagen mask is a really nice upgrade to a facial. Yeah. And then also a great to do if you're at home reading a book or watching a movie. I think that's fabulous. I would love to do that.
That's exactly it. So yeah, the masks are sold. Oh.
Yeah. And then Karen said, how do you spell?
Yeah. Humus?
Humus. What did I say that would have sounded like that? I'll think about it. You bring up your presentation there and I'll think about it.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen, everybody, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some promos that we're putting on. And let me just get rid of this. Here we go. So first off, we want to really want to take a look at aging gracefully. And here's one of our service promos, and that is facial acupuncture, another great way to sort of give your collagen a boost. So both collagen and elastin in what we have found when we're looking at facial acupuncture is something that is really relevant in when you're having facial acupuncture. And I would say to anybody who's really concerned about facial acupuncture, I'm a regular guest on Naomi's bed for acupuncture. It's not painful. I will tell you that it is not painful. And I have to say, I was so pleased with really how quickly we began to see results. So we have a promo on, instead of $125 per treatment, if you buy a package of 3, you can get that for $300. And so acupuncture is covered by many healthcare plans. And direct billing is also often available depending on your plan. But what I would say to you is, take a look at those options. You've got the we're looking almost at November now. Halloween is right around the corner. So you have 2 months of these, possibly if you're using up your coverage. So check if acupuncture is covered. If not, it's such a great deal. You get to save $75 when you're purchasing 3. And then Dr. Aaron talked about microneedling. And of course, that's one of our flagship services, along with, anything that has to do with aging gracefully at Pure Glow. And we've got a great promo on right now, and that is save $75 off your initial microneedling treatment. And we talk about, we always sell these in packages of 3, but we want to get you in really on because some people are not sure that they want to invest. They might want to try one session. So we're going to give you $75 off your initial. And if you want to book a package of 3, we'll actually include a complimentary facial with one of our skin specialists at Pure Glow. And that's going to be an additional $95. So you want to take advantage of these promos in the next 72 hours and book. And you're going to use the code of Aging Gracefully, so AG10. And again, microneedling may be covered by your healthcare plan. And direct billing is, we're also taking a look at, I'm all over the place. You may want to take a look whether this is covered by your plan, and then if direct billing is available to you. And second from last is that we have a beauty box coming out. And so we talked about Huna products. We talked about the skin, what was it? The skin, the skin nutrition balm from the one that Jordy loves so much. We have a full-size product in the beauty box. That is a $93 product. And if you notice, this box sells for only $95, and there is at least 7 or 8 other products in, including some bone marrow. So I'm so glad we talked about it. You're going to get a full container, 750 mils of bone broth in there. So there's $238 of products in the beauty box. And if you ever take a look go on our Facebook page and go back to events and watch Dr. Aaron opening one of our boxes early on. It's really a beautiful box, isn't it, Aaron?
Oh, it's my favorite day of the quarter when I get my beauty box delivered.
Absolutely. And we deliver this right to your home, or you can pick it up at either Nature Doctors or at Pure Glow. But this is a beautiful box of clean beauty and lifestyle products, curated by local businesses in Winnipeg. And so this is our way of really giving you some great options. We really loved nothing better than getting great products in your hands. I think that's the greatest way that we can give back to our city, Aaron, is letting people experience some of the things that we can get our hands on at a discount. So we put them in a box for you. So, and the other thing is, it's a great holiday season right now. Even if you don't want something in it, it's a great gift. You can break this box apart and you've got about 8 different gifts for $95. And I don't know about you, but I can never find gifts that reasonable. And then last but not least, right now we're feeling very generous. So pre-holidays, we want you to go into our online store at pureglowskin.com. And we're going to give 10% off any and all products in our store. So go shopping, enjoy the code AG10, and take 10% off any of the products that we host there. And we host four beautiful skincare brands: Osmosis, Viva, Etymology, and Huna, as we've talked about, as well as we have, natural deodorants. We have some beautiful shower sprays that are aromatherapy based that are amazing. So take a look at the store and enjoy it for the next 72 hours. So with that, that's my presentation.
And one other thing I will just mention is we like to align ourselves with brands that we believe in and that are doing good things in the world. And so one thing that we love about Huna, which is, has some base in Manitoba, some base in BC, but they give back 10% of every order to a women's mental health initiative. And that's near and dear to their heart, and it's near and dear to my heart, and I think Joanne's heart. And so that is another great reason why we love Huna, notwithstanding their amazing products, but they have a really, really great philanthropy component to their values.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope everybody takes some time and really looks at the beauty box is online. You can look at that. You can also contact us at Pure Glow, but it's a great opportunity. I want to thank you, Dr. Aaron. You have brought such a wealth of information. I've got a page of notes, and so that's great. It's always interesting and intriguing, and you always inspire me to do better. So thank you for these calls monthly. We're going to have another one in November, and then we'll take a break in December because we'll resume again in January. So November, I have to look at the date, but watch our Pure Glow Facebook page. You'll always be able to see, we keep you up to date on when our next opportunity to listen to Dr. Aaron will be. So thank you, Dr. Aaron. It was a wonderful Facebook Live today.
Yes, thank you for having me again. It was my pleasure.
Take care, everybody. Stay well.